guys, welcome back to another episode of Always Making. We are joined in our basement by two talented artists again for a great conversation. Before we get started with that conversation, we have some housekeeping to do. We are going to be on our next show in at Copper High Vintage. Sorry.
Yes, the Small Biz Bash at Copper High Vintage on November 16th. And then we're going to be at Mill Creek Common for the Bazaar Market on November 30th.
And that's all we got for housekeeping. So we're going to get into the conversation. We are joined by Sarah Beth Timmons.
Hello.
And we are
Hello.
And we are also joined by Laura. Sorry, Laura. Next of Kiln Designs. Thank you. I was practicing before the episode with all of their names before we got started with it. I knew I was going to butcher it before, and all the practice goes with everything before this. If you guys didn't see the blooper reel, but yeah, we are going to get into this conversation. This is an honor to have you guys here with us and have this conversation.
Thank you for asking.
We always like to get started with this episode of how you guys got started, how long it has been for you guys with all the talent and everything you guys been doing. Let's start, Sarah. How long have you been doing what you've been doing and what exactly you do?
Well, so I guess I've been making art for as long as I can remember. My mom was a really big supporter of it, and so she would find funny little camps for me to do. So she did like the one I can really remember is a cartooning camp where you made your own comic book strips. And she would always say yes to more art supplies. She always had like just, a plethora at our disposal. So I've kind of always been an artist, but then professionally, I graduated college in 2009. Not a great time to graduate college.
Same.
Yeah, 2008 for
2009,
me. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
being a millennial is great.
Yeah. And so when I graduated college, I got my degree in folklore, and nobody needs a folklorist.
Wait, hold on.
That's a degree.
There's
That's
a degree in folklore. Hold on.
So my degree is in history. I got it at Utah State, but it was an emphasis in folklore.
Okay.
So it was a minor in folklore. So
I did not know that was a degree you could get.
Yeah, it is. It was really fun. It was really cool. But I graduated at a weird time, and so I started working in a grocery store. I worked at Whole Foods. My husband got a full ride scholarship to Michigan, so we moved to Michigan, and I was still working at grocery stores, and I started working for Trader Joe's. And at the same time he was graduating from graduate school, I was looking to places to move. My parents had moved here because my dad got a job here. And Salt Lake City was opening a store. And so I came with the Trader Joe's, and part of my job at Trader Joe's, I kind of like snuck myself on a little list when no one was looking, but was being an artist. So they had a team of artists, and I worked with some really incredible artists, one of who is Jesse Draper, who I still work with now. And it was kind of like art school on steroids, because Trader Joe's was such a fast moving company, and you're expected to make these huge pieces of art, and then they literally go in a trash compactor the next day. Like there's not saving any of it, or you're wiping off all your art the next day to get the board back. So it's kind of freeing because you can do whatever you want, and that kind of gave me full range to kind of let loose, and that kind of started this kind of inkling of what I'm doing now.
So you're heavy typography.
Yeah.
And like very heavy typography.
Yeah. Well, so I'm from San Diego originally, from Oceanside, California, and street art is huge where I'm from.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to letter really beautifully, and it's a really like important aspect of life down there. And so I was always really interested in lettering. And then I also went to Catholic school. And part of Catholic school is I had to have perfect handwriting. So it was something that my neurodivergent brain chomped onto, and I just kind of held on for dear life with it. And so I used that typography and created an embroidery business, which is what I'm probably most well known for.
Yeah, that was the start, was the embroidery.
Yeah.
And then you got into the heavy typography, lettering.
So part of my job at Trader Joe's was typography, because I had to draw lettering all the time. And So I had to get used to drawing letters, and I had to teach myself a lot of things. I was taught by a sign painter who told me I would never be able to do sign painting because I'm left-handed. And I can't, it's hard for me to use the brushes because my hand goes through it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this really great coworker named Matt Matson who taught me how to paint backwards. So he taught me how to write all my letters backwards.
Oh, wow.
So he taught me how to write. I would sketch everything left to right, and then I would paint everything right to left, which was a really cool thing to learn.
Mm-hmm.
But that taught me how to take apart the letters and see them as shapes. So then when I was playing with embroidery, I was like, oh, I can put these together. People don't do this. And speaking of work, I had just gotten in trouble for saying the F word at work. So I was like, well, they're going to get me in trouble for it. So I made my first embroidery with the F word on it, and people lost their minds. Like, it was...
People love the F word.
Yeah.
I love the F word.
You can say fuck on the podcast, by the way.
So, in case anyone was wondering, F word is fuck.
So, but I think that, like, really, especially in Utah, because I'm not from Utah, so it really pissed people off here. Like, I cannot understate how much it made people upset with me. And that made me happy. So I was like, well, there's something here if they're getting this mad at me. So I just kind of kept pushing it, and it became kind of its own beast. And it became, I was doing patterns for a long time. I was doing a lot of markets with it, and yeah, that's how I got my start.
And got the success.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Laura, you are a completely different
Medium?
Medium. I guess that's the right word, because you do ceramics, pottery, and stuff like that. How did you get your start with your medium?
So I started doing ceramics in 2019. I was looking for kind of something to keep myself occupied while my partner's mother was dying, and he was taking care of her back in New York. I'm from Buffalo, New York originally. So he was there for 9 months, and I was like, I need to occupy my time and not go insane, because I am a control freak, and I couldn't do anything to help him. So I asked my cousin, who also lives here in Salt Lake, if she wanted to take a pottery class at a local studio. So I signed up for a pottery class at the Pioneer Craft House, which was in South Salt Lake. And then I became absolutely addicted. Like,
the control freak side of you came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to learn everything there is to know about making ceramics. So then in 2020, the pandemic happened, and the craft house closed, and then it never reopened because politics.
Yeah.
So the guy that was the studio manager at the craft house, he had like a basement studio in downtown Salt Lake. He asked me if I wanted to come do ceramics, and I was like, yes, because if I don't touch clay again, I might die.
Not to be dramatic.
Yeah. To be dramatic.
Yes.
Because that is me. So then what happened was we were in the basement of City of Industry on 3rd South.
Mm-hmm.
Like next to the Tabernacle.
Oh, it's all torn down now, right? It's like
so the landlords sold the building, and they were like, we're tearing down the building, and now there's like a way too expensive high rise there. And I was like, Pete, I can't not do pottery because I'll die, and you don't want me to die. So I kind of forced him to find a new space, a bigger space. So now we're over in Sugar House, and it's called Iron Desert Arts. And then he was like, do you want to start teaching? And I was like, I would love to start teaching. I was like, but am I good enough to start teaching? I don't know. But I practice a lot. I make a ton of shit. So
she is good enough.
So then I started teaching there in 2021. We opened up. And I've been there since, making pots, teaching people. And then I started doing markets. And that's where I met Sarah Beth. And then Sarah Beth was like, you do ceramics. I used to do ceramics, but then my professor made me hate everything. And I was like,
I went to the University of Utah because I was doing pottery in Michigan because for the same reason Laura did, because I started doing it in a class and I was like, this is incredible. And I got totally addicted to it. And I moved out here to go to school. That was one of the other reasons we moved here. And Trader Joe's just happened to be opening. But the world of university art is very different than the world of craft art.
Yeah.
And there's actually a huge debate in the university world of what is craft versus what is art, which is what I studied in folk art, which is what makes it folk art versus what makes it fine art and all of those things. And it gets pretty interesting, but it's a hard place to create. It becomes kind of
I think academia can kill
academia
a lot of things.
kills a lot of it, I think.
Oh, for sure.
And so I stopped doing it. Then Laura and I met in Oakley. Were we in Oakley?
Yeah, we were in Oakley
At the Recycle Fest.
Yeah,
and
Harvest
she
Fest.
was like, well, now you have to come learn from me. So I went and I was like, oh, this is amazing. So I did that for a while. And I just like making all kinds of art. I don't really care what I'm doing as long as I'm doing something with my hands. So I really like that community. So I had a good time working in that community.
Yeah, it was interesting through my college experience with like art, because I went to an art school.
Yeah.
And the competitive nature of the art school really did
Yeah.
kill the feeling of art for me. And I didn't like the people I was surrounded with in art school until I discovered the art community outside of art school.
Yeah. And I think with pottery, it's like specifically very interesting because pottery really is supposed to be taught in a folk art way from instructor to student. You're supposed to hold it in your hands. And that really differentiates itself from like painting or any of the fine arts. It makes it different because it feels so much more like a craft than, say, painting a beautiful portrait.
Yeah.
So it rides that line. So I think when you are in pottery, it's like, probably with printmaking too.
Yeah.
It's probably very similar.
It is very much where like the craft is taught, like when you're with people who are passionate about the craft, they want to share it. And like they really, I enjoy sharing my talents with people, and I get very like excited to share that with people who are interested in the art form. And
that's like Laura.
And like when in the academic world, what was it felt very corporate because everyone was trying to edge each other out for a job in a sense.
It was corporate, but then I got slapped on the wrist for being too commercial. So then it was like, well, what are you going to do? Sell that in Jackson Hole? And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to sell it in Jackson Hole.
Do you know how many rich people are in Jackson Hole?
Like, is that not the goal?
What do you? I have to feed myself. And I was pregnant at the time, and I was like, what are you? Why am I in school then?
There's this weird like
aren't you supposed to be teaching me skills?
Yeah.
I had this amazing pottery teacher in Michigan I was so sad when I left because he had set up this program or was trying where it was a pottery. It was seeing pottery more like a tech rotation. Instead of it being a fine art, it's a technology that you have to understand, which is a really interesting way of looking at it. But then he was like, on top of that, I want to have business courses put into it. I want people to understand like how to build a business for yourself using the arts. And it's like, that's never occurred. And I've never seen it. And
it would be so useful.
It would be so useful.
Everyone.
Yeah.
And like how to diversify your income as an artist and these things that we just figure out from each other and a totally like, how the fuck do I do this kind of thing?
Yeah, we're all Googling like, how do I do my taxes?
Yeah, and I had an awesome woman who took care of me when I was first starting, and her whole thing was, I'll take care of you so you'll take care of the next person. Yeah, because we don't know what we're doing.
Well, we were just on the last episode talking about it's taboo about talking about money with thing, and it's I don't think it should be taboo about talking about money because we need to learn about where we're like benefiting, where we're losing, where we're gaining these things about this stuff.
We share how much we make with each other, and it's often drastically different, and we're in the same exact space.
That's the thing that like as makers in this maker space that we're in, we should be sharing this and like, talking about the shows that we're doing and talking about. That's why we do these type of podcasts and these type of things, so that we can learn from each other with other makers that we're like approaching at shows, that we're like, we tell people, go talk to makers at shows, go approach people at these vendor shows that you're doing. Go talk to them, ask them questions. If you are interested in doing,
and they'll talk to you. They will talk to you.
Yeah, we're not scared. Like, we're not gonna bite.
I've had people come up to me at markets and be like, "Can I ask you a personal question?" And they're all like quiet, and they're like, "What was the booth fee for this? Do you mind me asking?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, it was this much." And you know, I've made that booth fee back, or it's been pretty slow.
And this show's not the greatest.
Do you want to buy a mug?
Hey, support an artist.
The best thing I ever did for my business was befriending my booth neighbors. Yeah. Especially Binks Olson, who just passed away this last year. No, it was this year. They introduced me to probably half the people I know. And it was just like force of will. They would just drag me around and make me meet these people. And it was incredible because it was people that I was too afraid to talk to. And they were so gracious and so open. And there are people with 20,000 followers. And it was really intimidating.
You have like 20,000 followers.
31,000 something plus.
31,000 something plus.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did that. I don't know.
Sarah, I need to know your secret.
I don't know. I used to hashtag things, but then hashtags didn't work anymore. I had a note in my iPhone of all the hashtags and just copy and paste into things. It was so easy. But the algorithm screwed me over. Yeah. But honestly, I think the best thing I have done for my business is meeting people around me and talking to people and picking their brains and asking questions and
using the F word.
And but also complaining. It's like a work environment. It's like any other work. Like, can you believe that bitch? Like, so it's nice.
Hey, being controversial sometimes is beneficial. Like in that sense, yeah. Like playing it safe doesn't always not always the best.
No, one of my best shows I've ever had was in Ogden, and I had this woman. I had these tote bags that said "fuckity fuck fuck," and I had them hanging, but it wasn't like really bad. But it was on Main Street in Ogden, and this woman was like, "Oh my god!" And her daughter went up to my sign, and it was chalk, and she erased it. So I have little boys, so I had this huge piece of chalk in my backpack, and I was like, well, fuck this. So I wrote fuck bags as big as I could and wrote $20 next to it, and then I hung them from every part of my tent, and it was a windy day, so they were waving. I sold out of bags. People of Ogden were like, thank you for fighting this fight.
I need a fuck bag.
They were like, I need this in my life. It was the best I'd ever done because
I'm glad we don't monetize our podcast, but we would definitely be demonetized on this episode for sure.
I thought it would be a lot of bleeps. Which...
You did say I could say it.
Yeah, no, 100%, yeah.
You absolutely can.
we are not a monetized podcast on this platform or any platform.
That's how Laura and I met. We were next to each other and we started talking, and
now we're market wives.
I was gonna say, you guys are on almost all of your guys' markets. You guys are almost next to each other or sharing a booth, primarily at markets.
We share. I learned this from Binks because my first market at my first Craft Lake City, I was 7 months pregnant. And I had no idea what I was going to do. And Binks was my neighbor, and they were like, oh, I'll watch your booth. And we bond, you go through a trauma bond when you do 3 days. Yeah. But it was you have to have somebody with you.
Sometimes you have to pee.
You do. Right. And sometimes you need ice cream every 4 hours. You're going to get a headache.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes you hate standing in line.
Yeah.
And your booth buddy hates sitting. Mm-hmm. So then you're like, hey, if I give you $10, you will get us some lemonade.
And it works every time. But it really does help. And then, luckily for us, our art it goes together really well without being the same thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of bright colors in my pottery, which is different than a lot of natural pottery that uses reduction firing, which is in a gas kiln, causes more earthy tones and stuff. And I bright colors regardless of the
What
What you
you're
wear
wearing.
today.
the neutral tones that I'm wearing today.
But Laura's stuff it really pops, and it's got a lot of cartoony kind of aspects because of the techniques she uses, and it just offsets my artwork. So, but at the end of the day, when you're doing something for 8 hours, to have a friend with you is so much easier. And we share things like she'll bring the tent, and I'll bring the tables, and I'll bring. I don't like the fans. Oh, bless us.
The fans.
And our and the
Utah summer.
yeah, or like I bring the chargers or something. So we're constantly talking to each other, and we'll carpool to the events with each other, and it just makes the whole process less intimidating.
And it's nice to have somebody to help you put up a booth.
And
Those 10
markets.
by 10 tents
Oh
are-
yeah, but markets are more likely to let you in if you're like, look, I know it might be tight, and I know you got 500 people. We'll share a booth. You get 2 for 1.
Yeah.
And we've literally gotten into markets that way because they're like, well, this way we get 2 vendors for, under one roof. And we really have gotten into markets that way.
Yeah.
So, like, we don't have enough room for you and her, but if you schmooshed, it would work.
Yeah.
So let's talk about first markets then. Did you guys do markets together first time, or did you guys do a market separately for your first times?
We did them separately.
Separately.
Okay.
Because Sarah had been doing markets for quite some time.
Yeah.
And it was like one of my first year and a half of doing markets when I met Sarah Beth.
Yeah.
We just happened to be assigned as booth neighbors.
Yeah.
Okay.
My first market was 2016, and it was the 9th and 9th.
Okay. How did your first market go for you?
It was awesome. I had a really great time. 9th and 9th was amazing.
Yeah.
And to this day, the 9th and 9th community is like my home. I feel really, really happy there. When we do that market, people recognize me, and they talk to me, about I remember when you had babies and now you have a 10-year-old. And I lived in that neighborhood for a long time too. So that felt really safe. And I did the avenues as well. And my avenues might have been the first one, but those little neighborhood markets just felt easier. And then I worked my way into Craft Lake the next year.
And Laura, when was your first market?
I think it was in 2021.
How'd that first market go for you?
It was pretty good. I just had a table. It was at Mamachari Kombucha.
Oh yeah. I guess my very first market.
It's all coming back to you.
She lies.
I crocheted in college because I was a hippie girl. I lived in Morgan. But I would sell my name was the Crafty Hooker, and I sold my stuff, but I didn't have a table. I just laid it all out on the ground in a blanket.
Oh my God.
Sell
That
mine.
is so you.
I know. And then a couple of years after that, I did a couple of things where I was, I don't know. When you make art, there's no other way you're going to make money off of it. And eventually, even your mother is like, no more. I can't have any more.
That's why my mother lives 2,000 miles
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe if I move far enough away, she won't send me more things.
But I did a market in Michigan too, and that was really fun. My really close friend, she was my mentor in Michigan, was like, well, are you going to do a market? And I was too afraid, and she was in charge of DIY Ipsy, which is in Ypsilanti, Michigan, and she was like, just do it. And then she signed me up for this market, and I was like, well, I guess I'm doing it. And she was like, you're good enough to sell your pottery, even though I probably wasn't. But she was like, just to believe it, and people will buy it, and it'll be fun. And
it's questionable if I was good enough to sell my pottery.
that's
my
like
first market. But,
you
you
have
know,
to just fake it until you make it.
I did sell my pottery. So
I've
I must
sold
have been
so
good
much
enough.
terrible pottery.
You know,
I cannot
listen,
tell you how much bad pottery I've sold.
people love ceramics.
They do.
And people don't always realize when it's good.
They don't know when it's heavy.
They're like, I love this heavy mug. I can kill intruders with it.
Well, when you have kids, they don't break. So actually, it's worked out great.
You know, speaking of giving your mom stuff,
Oh,
I gave my family members
Like really bad pottery.
For Christmas that first year I did pottery.
When my mom died, do you know how much horrible pottery I found in her home? What do you do with your dead mom's pottery that she saved that you made? Like, I don't know.
When my cousin Dan visited last February, I gave him 2 mugs as an apology for the one I sent him with the terrible handle. I was like, I'm surprised your fingers
offload
are broken
so much
holding
art
that.
to people. Like, I love you. You're smart. Nobody will buy it.
Whenever I have something that's just hanging out for a while, it becomes a gift.
Absolutely.
Look, I can't afford to buy you gifts, so I made them all.
Exactly.
That's what this year I've been telling people, because this year might be a little tight. If you get a local person, they will sell you anything. We'll sell you anything at this point in time, and like, please, because we're trying to feed our kids, and well,
I know. My cat needs food.
Cat needs food.
Don't let her cat starve.
No.
Howard has to keep his tail fluffy and shiny.
You're speaking.
I want. Yeah, we've gone on tangents. So
Sorry.
really good at
Anytime
it.
anyone mentions children, I bring up my
your
cat.
cat.
Yeah.
Fair,
Um,
as you should.
Don't even get us started on Silence of the Lambs.
I love the direction this has all gone so far with the conversation.
Yeah.
But the market side of things, I love talking about it because that's one of the things we do love, and just the passion about where we go with it, because that's how we started with all of this and why we do what we do with the market side of things. I want to talk about your processes a little bit, about everything that you do to get to the market side of things and your products that you actually take to markets with you. Okay. So your art that you have, are you still doing embroidery, or is it now primarily just prints and like flat art?
So I've kind of gone back to my sign painting ways.
Okay.
But I've also really gotten interested. I've moved away from doing embroidery. My mom taught me to embroider when I was a kid, and she passed away in 2022. And at that point, it was like, this doesn't give me the same spark it used to.
Yeah.
And I have ADHD, so it's not giving me any dopamine. I'm not going to do it anymore.
That's fair.
But my husband is a woodworker, and
I saw some wood burning stuff on your social.
he'll tell you he's not a good woodworker, but he has a little tiny wood shop, and he had scraps, and he was like, why don't you just try painting on these, see what happens? And then he's my biggest fan, because he'll be like, well, what if we got a pyrography pen and you just burnt some stuff? Or what if we got like a router and then you just like carved some stuff out? And we have a painting that he carved for me. Like, I painted it and he carved. So he was like, I don't know, just try it. And so I kind of took it from there, and I've been doing more like prints and stuff.
So when coming up with your stuff that you're taking to, like, I guess let's talk about a new piece. How long does it take you to develop a new piece for a show that you're like going to? Like, what is your development process, your R&D for a new piece for you?
For me, it's like I just finished a piece that's about Utah, because I know it's a ski Utah wood print or wood burn, because I know I'm going to be doing a market in Alta, so I know what my
your demographic
my demographic is for it. But I also have to keep in the back of my head that I have a couple of markets that don't want swear words.
Yeah.
So I have to like, what am I going to take? And then it just kind of depends. At this time of year, I really try and stay closer to brewery shows. So everybody's 21 and older, so I don't have to worry as much about that kind of stuff.
And they get really excited for the cunt.
And they get really excited. Cunt is my number one selling sticker of all time. Like, far and away. But the vibe is just better at breweries. But
I love going to breweries because after you have a couple beers, like,
you love art.
drunk people get a little looser with their wallets.
But so we So what we do back and forth is talk to each other about what are you bringing. So like she yells at me if I don't bring my prints because she's like, that stuff you should be selling. And she asks me what kind of cups she should be making or shit. Like she had these awesome cat lady mugs. Yeah. Childless cat lady. And was like, how many should I make? And so
I really should make more.
Yeah.
But
we talk a lot about that kind of stuff. That's another reason why it's helpful to have a friend who's in it, because you need to talk to somebody else who's like, well, okay, so you've been next to me. You remember better than I do. What did I sell better? Or
yeah, because people will be like, oh, I love this painting, but I, for whatever reason, don't want to buy an original painting because it intimidates me. Because Sarah Beth underprices everything. But anyway.
As artists, we all underprice everything. I mean, that's the truth.
That's true.
So I'm like, if you made a few prints and brought them with you, because I know you have some. Yeah. Ma'am.
But that was something Binks also taught me, was that you have to have small things to buy.
People will buy them, yeah. Like I make little trinket dishes because they're like $12. Or I'll like do 2 for $20, and people love little things that they can put other little things on.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper than like a $50 mug.
Yeah. So when you're coming up, so I saw on your social you have like childless cat lady, but then I also saw like childless rat lady also. So but like when you're coming up with a concept like that for a new mug, where are your like thought processes? Like how long are you going through a process to like, hey, I've got a new idea, and coming
from
up
like
with that
idea to final product?
Yeah.
Like what does that timeline look like?
Yeah.
Okay, so for me,
your process is...
Should I get political?
Wait, so but your process is different too because you have clay, so you have to think about the whole process.
My process is it true that I am more chaotic than you? Yeah. So as far as like the childless cat lady mugs go, there's this man who happens to be vice president, and he said childless cat ladies are miserable.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck that guy. As a childless cat lady.
Basically, her process is to shoot from the hip and not really know.
So then, like,
there's not a lot of deep thought behind some of them.
But then I'll be at the studio and I'll be making mugs because I can make mugs in my sleep. I can throw a mug shape like really. I'm a pretty speedy potter. I'm not like as fast as like Jeannie Awesome.
Yeah.
Because I think she has bionic.
She is awesome.
She did blow my mind when we had her on the podcast and like explain some of her. I'm like,
whoa,
that's.
She can throw like 700 mugs in a day.
She's crazy.
I don't know. I'm not that fast.
But somebody told me once that you have to enjoy the process. Like you have to enjoy even the worst parts of the process to truly love what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, like get the fuck out. So like if Jeannie can do that, that's amazing. I could never ever do that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I just didn't have that in me.
But
and
like,
I think those people are incredible.
Yeah.
I'll be teaching on a Wednesday night and I'll be like, I'm throwing today. What do you guys want to learn? And somebody was like, I want to make a bong. And I was like, okay. So I had to like go on YouTube. I don't smoke. So I had to go on YouTube and I had to be like, how do you make a bong? What are the parts of a bong? So I'm like on Google and I'm researching a bong like the day before class. So then I get to class and then I throw like I threw a vase essentially, and I was like,
that's what it is.
Because there's a lot of process after it dries a bit that you can do with the bong, and I was like, so then you'd have to like cut a hole and put the pipe in and the hole, and then you might want another hole over here, and this whole thing. So like I make a lot of like kind of one-off pieces because my students will ask me.
She should say that she's had a class on Wednesday nights for years, and it's the same people that come consistently, and so every week
I get
they
new
kind
people
of
every so often, and
so she'll text me and be like, what should I teach them this week?
Yeah.
So it's always a different thing, which adds a lot of variety, so that she's not, I don't think you're not thinking about like the deep
I'll be like,
meanings of your shapes.
I sold out of straw cups or I sold out of mugs, so I need to make mugs, and then I'll be at the studio on a Wednesday, and I'll throw like 20 mugs while teaching and like helping people in like 3 hours, and everybody's like, you throw so fast, and I'm like,
I'm just
Yeah.
like
but then when it's time to like decorate them, I'll be like, how do I feel today now that it's decorating day? And maybe I'll carve a mountain mug, or maybe I'll be like, oh, I think it's a sgraffito day. And then when I do the sgraffito, I'm like, what colors am I in the mood for today?
I don't know what sgraffito is.
Okay, so sgraffito is when you have your clay, your base, and then you paint either like liquid clay slip over it or an underglaze color.
something
over
that's a
it.
different shade than
So it's a different color than the base clay.
Okay.
And then you carve a design through it.
Okay.
So you carve out all the negative space to create
kind of
your
when you're
design.
making a print. It's
Yeah.
like the process of making a print.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's pretty similar to the process of like lino cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except,
Or woodcut stuff.
Yeah. So you're taking away and leaving the color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I'll be like, okay, I feel like flowers today, and then I'll do a flower one, and then that's like an hour and a half later.
But you've been really pushing yourself to draw more
I have.
and to learn to push your skills
Yeah.
into, instead of using the
I used to, well, I was doing underglaze transfers a lot, which are, they go on sort of like a temporary tattoo. And I have like every underglaze transfer you could ever imagine. But I like to do collage with them. So I would do mugs with the underglaze transfer. So I'd have like a raccoon riding a goose. Or like just some weird shit. I'll be flipping through the book and I'll be like, oh, this looks fun. And then, or sometimes I'll ask other people that are at the studio, because working in a community studio is great. And I'll be like, hey, what's your favorite animal? And then I'll like ask someone else, like,
you should put them in jars.
what do you
and
like
then
to
choose
do?
things out.
Yeah.
And then they'll give me random topics, and then I'll try to figure it out and make like a weird thing. So I don't do transfers on mugs so much anymore, but I do make weird plates. And they're just like these free-form slab plates, and then I can do collage on them because I really like collage. It's fun.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like when I don't really do a lot of research and think about what people want. I just like to make what I like, and then I know other people are gonna also like it.
Yeah.
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 That's I mean, that's, as artists, that's what we usually try to like push, is what we like. And if other people out there like what we like, I mean,
Then you found your people.
Yeah, you found your people. That's what we
Because I
like
feel
to-
like it has to be a really authentic. Because the way I really started to get some more people hearing about me and knowing my brand was through Harry Potter embroideries. And at some point in time, I had to completely cut that off because I couldn't stand with it anymore. And my husband's been like, well, just do like, you could do like a Star Wars. And it's like, but that's not my fandom.
Yeah.
Like I love Star Wars, but I can't push myself into that fandom just to make money because it doesn't feel very authentic to me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I pushed away from the Harry Potter stuff, I had to kind of find what I liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I found florography and the language of flowers, which is really bizarre.
Yeah.
And there's so much meaning. Like she's seen I have a couple of books that are
I'm
really dense.
Bring your book to the
Yeah,
market.
so and then we're just like looking up random like what is this one?
We looked up all of the meetings of all of my
Oh yeah,
tattoos.
all of
I
our
have like
I
a half
did
sleeve
too.
of flowers, and we're like, let's look up this one.
Yeah.
And essentially what my tattoo means is Laura is awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But I think it's really interesting to play with that because it is a way that women were expressing themselves without actually like blatantly saying it. And part of the reason why I liked embroidery so much was because it's a artwork that we're allowed to do.
I
Like,
mean, if you think about
I'll
it,
let
like
you.
way back in the day, like the Victorian English ladies, and they would like learn needlepoint, and it's
even
like
further back.
one of the further back than that, but it's like one of the few accepted
it's one of the only things that we could do, and we
but
were.
It's really hard to get people to understand that it's an art.
Yes.
It's seen as like a craft and therefore not valuable.
So that's the other reason. That's another reason why.
People just need to try it. Like,
Yeah.
try it once and see how hard it is.
Yeah, it takes a lot of skill.
And then and they're pretty small, and until you get down and actually look at how many stitches that is.
It's a learned skill, and it takes forever because I like to dabble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something that my mom was taught by her mom, and her mom was taught by her mom, and so it was very important to my mom to learn how to do it. And I really liked the dichotomy, I guess, of like this very ladylike art form. But now I like to push it with paintings, and my paintings are really multimedia. I use lots of different things on them because I kind of like things to be pretty, and then you look at them and you're like, oh, that means something completely different. And so that's part of my process, is doing a bunch of research on the plants that I'm using. Or my best friend is an arborist, and she went to school to learn these things. So I'm like, what is this? And doing all that research beforehand, and then getting to the point where I can start the piece.
Okay, so how far down the rabbit hole do you dive before you start a new project on?
All the way to the bottom.
I don't know. It kind of depends. A lot of times I just kind of let my gut tell me what I'm doing, and then we kind of go from there. Or I don't know. I can get pretty far down a rabbit hole. Like one perfect example of that is that I had these stickers that it was a nun that said "that's sus" on it.
Yeah.
And it was from this podcast that I was listening to about this nun who was like a really bad nun. And she killed people, or she tried to kill people, and she had a lover and all these things. And I found a woodcut of her on Italian Wikipedia. I went so deep that I was
an Italian Wikipedia.
Yeah. But then my husband was like, you
learning
can make
things.
it go into English. If you just hit that and it says E, you can make it English. So I was like, oh, fuck yeah. So I found these like really bizarre quotes from it because the English wasn't right. And so I got the sus nun because my kids kept calling me sus. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. But for my husband for Christmas last year, there was like in this Wikipedia that I went way too deep on was a poem about, it was called The Good Good, and it's about a dueling man in medieval Italy. And I drew it as a poster for him and had it printed and sent to us for Christmas. And he opened it and he was like, "The good." God damn it. And it hangs above his bed, his side of the bed. So I can get pretty deep with it. Plus I have a degree in history. So if I'm really researching something, I'll go way too far. So one of my favorite podcasts is called Too Many Tabs. It's like you have way too many tabs.
Yeah.
That's Sarah's brain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was just diagnosed with ADHD 2 years ago. So I have been raw dogging neurodivergence for 37 years before that. So my son's psychiatrist saw it through the screen. She was like, "Did you have ADHD?" And I was like, "No." She was like, "I can
110%.
smell it on you." Yeah.
How long do you actually spend on your? So let me take that back a little bit. Actually, are all your pieces traditional media, or are you doing digital pieces as well?
Yeah, I do digital art as well.
As well. Okay, so how long do you spend on creating your pieces? Are some of your pieces done pretty quickly, or are all your pieces done in like a couple days, couple weeks?
Kind of depends on what I'm working on. So over the summer, I was really pushing myself to understand how faces work. And so if I was working on something with a face, it would take me a really long time. If I go into something that I'm really comfortable with, like floral design, I can do it pretty fast.
Yeah, I don't draw faces well. Faces are hard.
I got really, I'm kind of obsessed with it. And I got a book and I really, really taught myself. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. And I stopped. I was like, why did I do that?
I approved several of your face things, and then I haven't seen
I
them
just like
anywhere.
hid them.
I was like, approved.
Yeah. So it just depends on what I'm working on. It can.
Does my approval not matter?
It does. my digital work sometimes does take much longer than my traditional work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so, like I feel like digital stuff like moves quicker than traditional. Like, but that's interesting to hear that it goes opposite for you.
I think I get too detail oriented sometimes when I'm on the computer because you can zoom in.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
And when you're working on wood, especially, you have to be really flexible with it because it's a changing thing. So if I'm putting water on it, it's reacting differently.
Mm-hmm.
If I pop the wood before I work on it, then it accepts the ink differently. So it's been a learning process because I didn't really know what I was doing. So a lot of this has just been like, well, I guess this will work.
What does popping the wood mean?
So when you sand,
Because that means something different to
I
me.
know.
Oh no!
It's when you sand the wood, the sawdust gets into the pores of the wood. So if you spray it with water, it kind of opens up the pores, and so it's a rougher texture, but it kind of accepts the ink differently.
Okay.
So I had to learn these things, but I don't know. I worked at a wood shop at Utah State for a while, and I was just happy I didn't hurt myself.
They didn't teach us that in high school wood shop.
No, I didn't learn that in middle school workshop. That's for sure.
I didn't learn that in high school wood shop, but I did learn it YouTube University and just doing basic woodwork kind of stuff that way.
Yeah.
But,
I can just imagine all the boys in high school wood shop. We're going to pop the wood.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, but these were things that like no one. I think it's fun to. So we talk about it because she does pottery. Pottery is pottery, and that's what Laura loves. And she the first time like she saw me switch mediums really hard, she was like, "But why? How do you do
in
that?"
My pottery class. How could you possibly want to leave?
Which is, I think, an important distinction for artists to remember that not every artist is like completely dead set on one thing, and not every artist is like, I can do all sorts of things.
Pottery is my soulmate.
Yes. So like I think it's an important, and we talk about that, and like how I really get a thrill out of doing something different that like kind of throws me for a loop.
Yeah, same.
We do.
Yeah. Like we do all the things.
Yeah. If you
notice.
Our garage is very similar.
We haven't bought the kiln yet, but we do have a lot of ceramic stuff.
No, but I want to get into stained glass so bad. Like that's my next one that I want to get into so badly.
Oh my gosh.
We have some stained glass stuff. We just haven't gotten fully
I'm like, I can't
into stained glass stuff.
I can't start another
I
one.
can't because I think about it too much. And it's like tattooing. I'm the same. Like, God, I wish I could tattoo.
I can't stab people with needles. That's the.
I think I can do it to other people.
I can't know. But
yeah.
The neighbor, we talked about this on a few episodes already, but the neighbor across the street before they moved out, they had a bunch of slip cast stuff, and they just put it on their curb. And,
amazing.
We brought a bunch of it
There's
home.
a bunch of it. They just left it on the curb, and I'm like,
amazing.
Do you want some more?
I have. There's a shed in the back that I have like about
with
maybe
stacks.
50,
I was like, I got
them.
this fun idea to like buy like 1 million slip cast molds off of KSL, and like I had so many.
You don't do that.
Listen, I had so many.
I asked you to do it, and you were like, "No, I don't want to."
Listen, I made a Santa Claus mug once.
Do you know what I would do to a Santa Claus mug form? Do you know the tattoos I would put on that?
I painted Black Santa.
Blanta?
Yeah. And
the people of Utah rioted.
Listen, he's my Black Santa. But I have all these slip cast molds, and I was like, I'm going to try this. And then, like...
She didn't like
They
it.
take up so much space, and
they take up a lot of space.
Working in a community studio...
Yeah.
So I have some at home. Would you like them?
No, we haven't. I thought I could do like paper. So we did paper.
We make paper.
Yeah, we do like recycled papers.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so,
yeah.
And I thought I could, and I have a technique. I haven't came back around to doing it.
Like using them as a press mold?
Yeah.
Basically.
And so
you would totally do that.
I've tried it. It kind of worked. There's another technique another paper person taught me that I've got to mess around with. So I'm going to try a few different things with it.
The plaster could take the water out faster than you want it to.
It worked kind of and kind of, but anyways, the new
another tangent.
another tangent. But no, it's fine.
I want to problem solve.
But then I actually found like a just like a couple weeks ago, some like pottery place had like 5 55-gallon drums of slip cast that they were just giving away.
I would have taken it too.
I've like the problem is I'm like,
dude.
wait, how am I gonna haul 5 55-gallon? I'm like,
Listen,
my thought was like,
you put
okay,
it in your car, and then when you get home, you realize how low your car was sitting
Yeah.
on the wheels from your ride from Roy
So,
to Midvale.
yeah, right. Well, my thought was, I'm like, well, if I just go take from the 55-gallon, if I get like the 5-gallon Home Depot buckets and I just scoop out like how many if I just get a couple buckets and I could just scoop them into these buckets in smaller buckets, and I could fit so many in my car and everything.
This is how I
Like-
ended up with an entire driveway of wood chips. Because the wood chip guy was like, "Did you want a whole truck?" And my husband was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "You get 2."
You get 2
And he gave him an
truckfuls.
orange soda. The guy was like, "You're the best." I had so many wood chips. I had so many wood chips.
I was like,
Yeah.
I know the space in my car, how much I can fit when I fold the seats down, but I'm like, I just need to figure out how I get all this stuff in the back of my car.
Well, you also put one in the front seat.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I have a person in the front seat
Listen,
helping me
To
carry
help you
stuff,
carry
yeah.
the 55-gallon drums of slip gas.
Listen, there's a reason that Uber and Lyft exist.
Yeah.
Well, then I was like, well, if Christy goes in her car with Juniper, then like I can fit more in the front
Oh,
seat.
And
kind
then
of
you
thing.
can put some in the other car.
In the other car too. So
But
like,
I
Yeah.
this is how I ended up with an entire truck full of wood because a carpenter friend was like, "Who wants this?" And I was like, "Me!"
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing, so my husband was like, "Okay," and he brought a saw and he took it and I was like, "Okay, well, we just have to get like the good stuff," and he was like, "Sarah, we're taking all of this.
well, we've done that too.
We're taking it all."
Well,
We helped
a
a friend.
I'm like, I have a chainsaw, so I can fit a lot
We'll
of
go
wood
help
in the
you
back of
cut
my
up some
car.
wood.
And like, I just need it for my RC track in the
I was like,
backyard.
I'm just
and
gonna grab a
everything.
few pieces.
So like,
and
I'll just cut some down, and
Yeah.
then the rest we'll use for firewood also, and I'll help you cut down your stuff for firewood, and like I can fit a lot of it in my car, and that's totally fine. It's like I have a chainsaw, I'll help you cut it
Yeah,
down.
But
you know?
listen, you have a yard. I live in a 900 square foot apartment. I brought home
It's
so
a bit
many
of a
slip
different
castles.
issue.
I had some on my like balcony.
Your poor partner.
Oh man,
Poor
Brandon was
Brandon.
like, "You need to get rid of some of these,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "But," I ended up some got broken. I
I
ended
think
up
it's just
tossing
part.
some.
You know, I've met
They're-
artists who are really clean, and I don't trust them.
That's what I said.
Like you have to have just so we just moved my son into the basement, so both my kids are down in the basement, and I got the little guest room as my own room, and my husband calls it the Sarah room, and he just puts anything that's like lightly related to me in it, and it makes him so happy because before I was in the living room and I was just accruing shit, and he didn't know what to do with it, and my kids. I have gold paint all over my house because one of my kids found the gold ink with the dropper and
Oh,
he
no.
loved it.
Oh no.
So it's like
Who wouldn't?
it's all over. It's just like blobs of it. And then he found my gold paint pen and drew penises all over the wall of my bedroom. Like my husband had to be like, these have to go.
Okay, you know what my cat never does? He has never drawn a penis.
People will come to my house and I'll be like, yeah, look, we're there. There's like a little smiley thing in the corner.
I'm
It's
just
like,
saying.
Dan was here. He wrote his name on one of the fans.
Howard. I homeschool Howard, and he is never.
But yeah, I think
haven't taught him
I
how
do
to
think
write.
that's just an artist thing. We pack rat and we see.
Yeah.
I really like
There's
our.
so much potential
Yes.
in all these materials and things that we find, and our brains are
Yes.
just wired to be
But
like,
then you have
that
to,
could be a thing.
You have to
I
find a
don't-
friend who you can be like, do you want some of this stuff? Because I took too much.
yeah,
Right? I'm like,
yeah.
That would make a really cool texture in clay.
Or it helps to have the friend who's like I went to the bins with Stephanie from Bright Stormy Kids, and she was like, I was holding out some things that I like loaded in my car was loaded, and she was like, Christy, and she gave me like like that friend
Yeah.
look, right? Christy, edit, and I was like, got it.
Stop
Yep,
it.
okay. Putting things out of the cart, got it. Thank you so much for that.
There are some enabling friends that are not the
It's
right
true.
friends to take to
It's
some of these
true.
stores sometimes because
I am not the right friend.
Noted.
Yeah.
FYI.
yeah. The other thing too is the gold foil.
Gold leaf.
Gold
Oh,
leaf.
gold
Yeah,
leaf.
that's a dangerous one too.
Yeah.
I started playing with that, and I got a shop, like not a shop vac, but a little like dust vac to clean it up. and it just got into the filter of the stuff, and they went,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh no.
There's
It
gold
just
everywhere.
like shreds.
Christy
Glitter.
Christy came down and like, what happened? And I go, I didn't realize it was gonna do that.
You're like,
sorry.
Our room is gilded
Yeah.
now, isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, I was like, oh,
We
this is
sparkle.
this was bad. Don't use this vacuum. And I'm like, I had to clean out the vacuum, and I'm like,
Wash
I just put the
filter.
vacuum in the closet, and
Yeah.
I'm like, we don't use that vacuum anymore. I like,
This is a problem for future
I'm gonna
me.
need another vacuum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, well, this has been fun, guys.
I hope we were informative.
Did
Yeah.
we answer a single question?
Possibly.
We did get some questions answered, and we definitely got some conversations that I didn't
Some
think we were
tangents.
gonna go down that direction for sure. But I want to just end on a note like of if there is advice that you have for people looking to get into this crazy art world that we live in, for people who might be getting started. And like, if you had a piece of advice that you could tell yourselves, like a younger version of you that would have helped you out, is there something that you could tell that younger version of you or someone getting started? Like,
I always tell people to not get bogged down by the details. Like, if you're gonna get stuck on, should I LLC? What is the process that way? I was like, you're gonna get stuck, and it's gonna get too big, and it's gonna get really scary. So just jump in, and if you like, it doesn't take a huge amount of money to put into it to try. And if it fails, and nothing happened. But at least you tried, and you're not gonna get yourself stuck on the details of something that's really pretty easy to figure out later on. So I would just say, kind of like, fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Another thing that is just a good life lesson in general is learn to ask for help.
Yeah. And
Because
accept help when people
offer
it.
help, accept the help. Like, you don't have to do everything yourself.
Mm-mm.
And like, you're just gonna get burnt out, and then you're gonna hate everything.
But this community, specifically in Salt Lake City, is so interesting to me because it's such a warm and inviting community. Once you find yourself in it,
Yeah.
it's like really, it's I feel very safe in my community. I feel very loved with the people that I do markets with, and I know that if I do need help, I can call somebody like Jacqueline at Copperhead and be like, please help me. And she, like, we have such a nice, warm community here that if you need help, just ask. And
Yeah.
we're in a group with like 25 other small businesses that are always asking each other questions. And there are people who have been doing this for years.
Yeah.
And they don't know what they're doing any better. Like, it looks like we know what we're doing, but we don't. It's like parenthood.
Mhm.
It's much like parenthood. But if you get caught up and you don't just go for it, you're never going to go for it, because it's easy to get bogged down by those nerves. And if you have something to say and you have art that you want to put out into the world, do it.
Yeah.
Because people want to hear your voice.
And make what you like, because other people will like it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what you think might sell.
And if you, the thing I tell people too that have been doing it for a while and they get stuck in doing the same thing over, like doing some kind of artwork you don't like anymore, like when I was doing pottery, you don't have to do it anymore. You can change. And I've had the warmest embrace from the community when
Unless
I
it's
changed.
pottery, and you should never stop.
But when I've changed my art and the way that I'm coming into the community, nobody batted an eye. Nobody told me to go back. I had the strongest support system.
Yeah.
And so it really wasn't as rocky as I thought it would be. And nobody has since been like, well, these are pretty, but I wish you did embroidery. People are just excited to see new artwork.
Yeah.
Like, they just like art.
Yeah. I have had people ask if you still do embroidery,
And you
but
tell
then
them,
they're like, well,
Yeah.
I'll buy these stickers and postcards
Yeah.
while she's in line getting us lemonade.
That's another thing that I like. You have to have something small for them to buy. 'Cause people want to support you, but they don't
Yeah.
always have $40 for something, but they usually have $2 for a sticker.
Yeah, yeah,
100%.
we definitely like preach that all the time. Is like have
Yeah.
a variety of price
And
range.
we'll be at markets and we're selling as much as each other, and I'm selling stickers and she's selling pots, so it's not always like ideal.
Yeah,
But people like to help you.
Yeah.
And if they like, that's the coolest part, I guess, is when you're starting, like, people want to help you more than they want to hurt you.
Yeah,
It's
for
true.
sure. Where
Awesome.
where can they find more information about what you guys are doing? What are those social handles where they can find out more about what you guys are doing?
Mine is at Sarah Beth Timmons. It's Sarah with an H. Beth Timmons. Timmons. And it's at everywhere. You'll just have to. That's me.
Yeah, I'm at Next of Kiln Designs. It's punny.
But literally, people stop and like,
Yeah.
and then just keep walking.
Like,
and you're like,
oh, that's a great
yeah.
name. I was like, I love a good pun or a bad pun.
And they'll look in and be like, ew,
Any
liberal. Women's rights.
But yeah, Next of Kiln Designs. It's
And Iron Desert Arts.
and Iron Desert Arts is if you want to take a lesson.
Awesome.
If you guys want to come take a lesson.
Can we ghost?
I mean, if you want, only with consent.
The amount of time.
There's only consensual ghosts.
Yeah, we've ghosted. Not everybody gets to ghost.
On that note, guys, that is going to be our episode.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us down here
You
in the
guys.
basement, guys. You guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. If you guys know any other talented artists in the local Salt Lake or greater Salt Lake area, please send them our way. We like having conversations with everybody in this art community. It's been great. It's been fun. We have been doing this for 58 episodes. We have over 500 subscribers to the channel, and it's been great. It's been awesome. You guys have been awesome to support us and doing all that for us. Guys, this has been fun. We are going to be doing another episode in another 2 weeks, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.